Howdy YouTube, Eznex here with a little update video. It's been quite a while, over a month I think, since the last update on the Ezarcher project. In the meantime, in between the last release and today, Plasma 6 was released, and Calamares has been plugging away on updates as well, and I finally dealt with that little beast. So that's really the reason for the newest releases of ISOs. So if you head on over to my SourceForge page under Files, hopefully this will work. There we go. We now have an ISO release dated 24/03/09. All 5 of the ISOs are up. And the KDE Plasma ISO is now on Plasma 6. So we're going to take a look at that. Also up for download in the project files, all of these have been updated as well. The templates file grew quite a bit because with the new release of Calamares, we'll take a look at this in the branding, there is now slide images, 4 slide images that take up a bit more space than the single slide used to, of course. So all of the templates, each of the templates grew by that amount, and when you add them all together, you get a substantial increase in the size of the template file download here. The PKGBuild file is also grown because mostly of those images. Plus, I believe this PKGBuild zip file here contains the filled out easy repo as well as the packages, not just the PKGBuild files. So that's why I have a little more to download there. If you didn't notice, the actual ISOs are also grown a little bit, a few tenths of a gigabyte here and there, and that is really at least with the KDE ISO, one of those reasons is the Qt6 and the Qt5 packages that are still hanging around. The Qt5 are still hanging around. I mean, for various reasons, some dependencies still require compatibility with certain Qt5 libraries, even though the system is Qt6. The other reason for the increase in growth is all the templates are bigger. Each template is now about 31 megabytes instead of 14 megabytes. So you have a doubling in each of the template files combined. It leads to slightly larger ISOs. Same packages have been in all. I think the only package I added to any of the ISOs that wasn't totally necessary was GDB, which is the GNU debugger. And I had reason to use that recently. Very handy tool for backtracing problems in, for me, Mesa. So I figured I'd add the debugger in as a standard installed package. So let's get done with the boring stuff here. Go right to creating and starting up a virtual machine with the new KDE ISO. Now, let's see, we're going to select KDE. We're going to name it ourselves here, at least the type of distribution. Going to increase the memory and increase the CPU cores. give ourselves a little more room to work with. Okay, finish. Now we should start up with the virtual machine any second. It is virtualizing UEFI in the system here. Let's give ourselves some more space and let the ISO boot up. Boot process is unchanged. It boots very easily in QEMU. Virt Manager boots easily on hardware. First thing we notice with SDDM with KDE Plasma is it defaults to Wayland. I haven't yet played with Wayland. I've been switching it to X11 because at least that's predictable for me. So let's go ahead and log in. I'll move this a little back here so my face down here is not blocking the screen too much. Oh, updates available. Yes, I built this yesterday and there are updates already. Discover is included. I don't recommend you using it for updates, but it is an update notifier of sorts. See if we can make the screen a little bigger here. Go to settings. You can see the settings are all stock KDE Plasma. I have not altered any of this. Let's go on down to, they move this stuff around on me. Oh, display and monitors up here now. Okay. 1440 by 9 is usually my preferred resolution. We can make this, oh, that's fine. Okay. We can see a little better. We got some rounded corners. Okay. Slight change as we saw in the organization of the settings. Let's go ahead and start the installer. The software, as I said, really hasn't changed outside of Calamares and the addition of GDB. It took quite a bit of experimenting and tweaking to get the newer Calamares here working. Quite a bit of that was overcoming my previous settings in the module configurations and realizing that not all of the choices and the way those choices were made pulled over from 3.2 to 3.3. Another problem was my own PKGBuild file and not realizing very simple syntax mistakes for a couple of hours, preventing me from being productive yesterday. Once I saw my own syntax problems, the PKGBuild file fell right into place. So we're in Phoenix, generic keyboard. We'll just go with erase disk. Get some swap going. And since BTRFS is so popular, let's do that. Next, let's pick a name. Let's pick a super safe password. We get our summary, install, confirm, and our new slideshow that takes up all the new space. Beautiful, full color, deep images, right? Ezarcher Linux, welcome to Ezarcher Linux. There'll be second slide. Ezarcher is 100% Arch Linux compatible. We have filling up the file systems. This goes by a little quicker than it has in the past, although the overall installation I think is about the same. So while this is going, let's take a quick peek unknown application folder. And the movement is a little slow, but we're dealing with the installer. That was an interesting little notice, unknown application folder. Yeah, we have that here. One thing I noticed with the change to Plasma 6 is the default action for the mouse click has changed to double instead of single. You know, for years I had really appreciated KDE's stick-to-itiveness to single-click actions. And on KDE, I want single-click actions. I've come to really love single-click on KDE. And what do they do this time around? They take it away from me. Yes, I can re-enable it, I assume, right in settings. So let's see. There we go. And now my single click opening folders is back. Lovely. We can see all the screen tearing going on. Wow. But the installer is busy copying to the hard drive here. So, and it's slowing because we're trying to use the system while it's doing its business. In the documentation, everything is here, of course, as it always has been. The PKGBuild files haven't changed for 3 out of 4. For Calamares, let's take a peek here. Make this a bit bigger. So all of the depends and make depends have been gone through and alphabetized. Yes, finally. And these choices are really coming from my own knowledge, a look at the recent Chaos Linux PKGBuild file for Calamares, the recent Endeavor OS build file for their Calamares, and cobbling all that information together into what I think is a very complete depends array here. So a lot of these I've already had. Some of them are a little new to me. The PyBind 11 in particular is new to me. It is a way to replace the dependency on the former boost libs, which is always a good thing because boost libs changes every 6 months and then it forces a recompile. libAddasmart, that was something I picked up from the Chaos file. I don't know exactly why it's necessary in Chaos, but I figured we'll add it and see what it does. If it doesn't work, I can take it out. Basics like crypt setup and GPT disk and hwinfo and kconfig, those are all have been in my PKGBuild file forever. YAML CPP, upower, udist2. Udist2 is a newer one, a newer entry, basically also from the Chaos folks as well. One thing that threw me off for a couple hours, I was talking about a syntax problem. I had left off the trailing slash on 2 lines and didn't realize it. And every time I attempted to build, I would get an error. And the error would point to this line. And there's nothing wrong with this line. I didn't realize that the trailing slashes were missing. As soon as I put those back on these 2 lines, wham, the PKGBuild file built the file. I was playing around with this, I was playing around with that, anything but the actual problem. When I finally saw it, I slapped my head and thought, what an idiot. But that's how things go. So that was the PKGBuild file. Calamares settings. Oh, as I said, the branding. We now have the slideshow. Changes to the show QML. Changes to the branding description. Changes to modules. There was little tweaks in the bootloader, little tweaks in the FS tab, little tweaks in the big tweaks in the mount command, the mount config. Let's open this, talk a little bit about this. So, for a good chunk of my testing was overcoming problems in Calamares, and the error was couldn't create or didn't create the process and the sys mount devices. And I couldn't figure out why. And it turns out that it was a problem with this setting. In the file system default options default setting, I had also included options like no A time and no discard. Those options in the default file system setting were messing with the creation of the process file system and the sys file system. As soon as I dropped down to defaults only, those issues went away. Another thing I've noticed is the file system EFI setting and options. We'll see on this as we boot the installed system. The EFI directory gets default options in FS tab. I tried to set this to the UUID 0077 option to make the EFI directory not visible, or the insides of it not visible. I couldn't get that to happen. So we went with defaults. That seems to work. Let's see, I think we're done talking and we're all done installing. There's no more option to restart. That was one of those settings that escaped me. It doesn't really matter. Just click done and restart. And OK. I have a cat in the corner playing where he shouldn't be playing. So if you heard some noise, that was that. Okay, we are ready to boot up the installed system. So let's take a peek. Okay, easy test. Let's leave it on Wayland. This will be my first experience with Wayland here. If it doesn't work, we can always restart it and select Xorg. Wayland doesn't particularly excite me. It's just another component that I'll either eventually get along with or not get along with. That's all it is. So, well, it looks the same. See if we can change the drawing of the screen is uber slow. Wow. Trying to keep a cat off the desk here while I'm recording. So I can tell you what I don't like about it already is that performance. Display output is not active. Interesting. Don't like it. Okay. I guess Wayland is a no-go for me. Oh, it recovered. Okay. I was going to get to a terminal or TTY and safely restart. Let's log out. And choose X11. So at least in this virtual environment with the Virtuo VGA driver, Wayland was a no-go. We can already see X11, although no speed daemon, is better at performing than Wayland was. Certainly a little more stable in allowing us to change resolutions without falling all over itself. So for little reasons and big reasons, X11's better, at least for me in this situation. You can see everything seems to work. We have development packages. We have one game, of course. We have a few graphics with light graphic stuff. Internet, FileZilla, Firefox, and QBitTorrent. Multimedia heavy. Have a lot of stuff for multimedia playing. Document viewer, settings, system. Discover, as I said, I include because it's a good way to get KDE specific, Plasma desktop specific add-ons. I wouldn't use it as a package manager. ezmaint, of course, my own little tool. You can perform various system things like running updates, reset all Pacman keys if that's an error, regenerate mirror list with US mirrors if you want, clean package cache, clean up journal space, clean user cache on next boot, and enable Bluetooth. So let's go ahead and exit. What else under system? Cups is already set up for you. We have disks for managing disks. I like this. Even though it's a GTK program, I always include it. KeePassX for managing passwords. Network tools, also a GTK program, but very, very nice. Spectacle, Sweeper, Vim. Your standard KDE. One thing I would do, and I noticed this in the virtual machines, I don't know if it would be a problem on hardware, but I'm looking for power controls. Recent. Maybe it's called energy saving now. No, it's not called energy saving. Maybe it's under screen locking. Let's unlock the screen. What I noticed was that if I let the screen lock, it would not unlock. That might be it. Well, we'll give that a shot. Okay, folks, there you have it. Go grab your new ISOs. Let's give a look here. I know this always happens. Oh, we got downloads already. It's only been up 10 hours and we're getting downloads. Some people are watching. Even if I don't make announcements, some people discover these things on their own. Getting some discussions going too, which is nice. So if you have a question, just want to chime in, head on over to the discussion boards here. And sometimes it's a couple days lag time between my noticing new items, but I try to keep on top. There you go, folks. Ezarcher March 9th update. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you're curious enough to try it out if you have any desire to. And let me know what you think. Problems, good items, drop a line. I'm always happy to hear. Take care, stay safe. See you in another one, folks. Bye-bye.